Hey guys, your old buddy Steve here. We've had since I put the bees in the hive. I'm gonna apologize for the shakiness of this, but I got all the way out here and realized the camera mount for the tripod is in the house somewhere, and I just don't have it in me today to waddle up there and waddle back. I don't want you over here if I'm gonna open it up. My better half just asked if she could help. Hang on a second, guys. All right, take two. Steve-O here again. Mrs. Steve-O was nice enough to go in the house and get my camera mount for the tripod for me, so I wouldn't have to waddle up the hill and waddle back. So kudos to her. She will get credit after this. So that's the front of the hive. Today is the warmest day we've had since I put them in there, and it's right at 3 o'clock or so, and it's partly cloudy. The wind has actually died down. It was more windy than this earlier, and so I expect there weren't as many of them out then. Today's task is twofold. One, I've got to refill our feeders in there, or that one feeder anyway. That milk jug there with the red top, that's a gallon jug with 1-to-1 syrup in it, and I made a 5-pound batch today, or actually 10-pound batch, 5 pounds of water, 5 pounds of sugar, 1-to-1 ratio for this time of the year. That's my spray bottle over there. I do not have anything to burn. Hang on a second. Just like being on a roller coaster. I don't have anything to burn in my my smoker yet. It's been so blasted wet here that I've not been able to get any pine straw that wasn't wet. And if I put wet pine straw in a bag, it's just going to rot. So we're going to try to just douse the bees with some sugar water this afternoon and see if that doesn't chill them out enough for me to pull that queen cage out of there. Make sure that our queen is out of the cage. Hang on, I gotta move you again. Drop my other glove. And if she's out of that cage, that's as far as I'm going. I'm gonna pull the cage out of there, put the inner cover back on, and we're gonna leave them alone for about 2 weeks. I'm not doing nothing. If there's a queen in there, she should have laid a pretty good pattern by that day, 10 days, 2 weeks kind of thing. And if there's not a queen in there, they will have begun to create a few. And that's the worst case basis. All right, so that's the front entrance. What I'm gonna do now is move the camera around behind where we had it before and take the top off and pull that top box out of the way. I don't know that I'm going to film all of that. I think it's pretty easy to figure out. Hang on a second. I mean, you've seen what all I've got going on here. It's 2 deep boxes, the inner cover and the lid. And in a minute, if I turn the camera back on and all I have there is one box, I think any genius or sub-genius can figure out how I got there. So rather than burn up batteries and time, I'm just going to cut this here, and when I get everything pulled apart, just before I take that inner cover off, we'll come back to this. Y'all hang on, we'll be right back. All right, so there we are. I got the cover off. I got the empty hive deep off that I had in there. That's the inner cover. I sprayed these bees down with a little bit of, I sprayed these bees down with a little bit of sugar water. I'm gonna hit them again. And hopefully they won't get crazy on me and run everywhere. And all I'm doing is sitting that cover off here in the side over here in the box. going to hit all these guys here. Again, everybody too busy to fly out of there. There's the queen cage. Wow. You think they haven't been busy? Look at that. Baby, I don't need that. Do not need burr comb like that. I did not bring my hive tool out here. It's okay, I don't need it. The good news is the cage, kids. The bees that are in there, I don't know if you can see that or not, those are just worker bees. That means that she is down in the hive somewhere doing what the queen bee does, which is make other bees. So, I'm just going to sit this off to the side. The bees that are in there will come out, and they will most likely reuse that wax, take it back inside. Believe it or not, that's all I wanted to see today. Slide this lid back on here. If you slide the lid on a little bit of time, they will get out of your way. Kind of like somebody bumping into you with a cart in the grocery store. Come on, kids. Come on, girls. Let's do this thing. There you go. There you go. Putting a few more in the air, but it ain't no big deal. Oh. Put the hive deep back on. Y'all hang with me here. Whoa. Damn it. I'm not exactly sure what shot you've got there, because that's taller than I can see the screen. Put my milk jug lids back in here like I had before. There was a bee stuck under that. And all I did was just make a square or a diamond out of this, depending on what angle you're looking at. This can has got 2 small holes in there, and that sugar just weeps out of there, and the bees just go up and take their turn. I just realized I forgot something, my bucket of water. Oh well, ain't no big deal. Nope. I am filling up the feeder again. I figured y'all would rather see the bees than me filling this jug up. I figured anybody could figure that one out. Oh. Alright, come on. There we go. Got the lid back on. Throw all the rocks back in the thing here. Here's our trusty chick waterer going back in here again. All I did was refill the jug, and all right, girls, somebody's got to move somewhere so I can sit this down. Come on, I'll move. There you go. Look out. All right, well, everybody didn't move, but few she's occurs. Whew. think what I'm going to do, just for grins and giggles, I'm going to put this back in there, screen side down, and let's see what they do with that wax over the next few days. All right, time for the fancy schmancy English copper top lid. That's it. All right, that's it. I have no idea how much time that took. I'll go back and look at the video, and it should come up right there somewhere, saying exactly how long all of that took. But today's good news is, I just realized I'm over here recreating the Mr. Rogers as a beekeeper routine here. I'm not going to change my shoes though. Hang that there on the shepherd's hook. I'm not going to change my shoes, but I am going to change my glasses because I can't see squat. Hey, there you go. Hey, it's the sky and the sun and stuff. So that's it. Again, you know, the big shrug. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I was scared to death to do this stuff. I was sure I was going to kill the bees, be out a bunch of money and whatnot, and just has not turned out that way. And I just keep moving forward. And the big deal this summer is going to be taking this hive as it starts to increase in numbers, and I'll go in here in a few weeks and do a thing it's called checkerboarding. And hang on a second. I don't have a sweater, so don't ask. I rarely wear one. You take two of these deep boxes, and in one you've got the frames that are already there. Then you take another deep box, probably use these two I've got here, and you pull out a frame within an empty frame. Pull out, you know, you go out every other one, starting from one end going to the other, so you wind up basically with 4 empty frames in that box that's got a queen in it and all the stuff going on, and you've got 4 with bees and larvae and eggs on another box. You just take that one and put it on top of the first one, and in a month, in another 3 weeks or a month, it'll be so full of bees that I'll have to do a split. And that's this summer's deal, is doing these splits. When I get done, I'd like to have between 4 and 6 hives out here before the summer's over. That way, if anything happens to a hive or 2 hives, I don't see no bees again. Ideally, I'd like to come up to next year and have enough bees that I can try to make some nukes over the winter, so that next year I can sell a few and maybe recoup some of the money I've got invested in this. It will be nice to get to some point that I'm dead even and still have bees and hives and honey coming in and bees in the backyard and tomatoes the size of growth of cantaloupes and that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's all we got for today. I'm gonna back out of here. Y'all be well. It's your old buddy Steve-O. Bye.